Hi, I'm Kylie Wilson, a junior on the Russia girls basketball team, and Fish Report Live starts now.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio, it's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. It is Wednesday night, November 20th. My name is Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. TK and Heavy D are behind the cameras tonight. And no, we are not live at Studio F, Ken. We're actually live here at Cruisers in Russia tonight. Great crowd. What do you think of our first ever Cruisers gig?
Craig, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We've been looking forward to this moment for a long time. We've been stuck in Studio F down there for a while, and we finally got the roadshow equipment running, and it's great to be in Cruisers.
All right, well, I want to get things started here by asking you your favorite Cruisers food. I know you like to come up here and eat. I know TK and Heavy D like to eat here as well. So do I. Let me ask you, what's your favorite Cruisers food?
Well, Craig, when Steve and Barb fire up the lug nuts, it's got to be the barbecue and the hot lug nuts. That's my favorite.
Guys, TK, Heavy D, what about you two? What do you like to eat at Cruisers?
I'm a big fan of the Friday night pizza and beer.
I look forward to the patio party and the steaks that Steve cooks up out there.
All right. Well, I'm kind of a salad guy. I got to watch my figure for the show here. So, the Cruiser salad, some mandarin oranges, some of the walnuts, the cranberries, the vinaigrette. That's my favorite, the Cruiser salad.
Well, you can't go wrong, like you said. They have pork chops, prime ribs, seafood, chicken on Friday nights. It's a great place to come up.
All right, well, listen, let's get things rolling here. Every week on our show, you ask me a weekly trivia question. I always get it right. So what do you got for me tonight, Ken?
Well, I don't know about always getting it right, Craig, but tonight's trivia question, we're going to talk Lady Raider basketball. Who holds the all-time scoring record for a single game? Most points scored in a single game. Is it A, Sandy Cardonier-Finkus, B, Kylie Wilson, C, Cassie Francis Tiemann, or D, Tanya Cardonier-Hammonds?
Boy, four great answers, four great players there. I usually ask my Twitter followers. I send it out on Twitter, look for answers on Twitter. Don't have my phone with me tonight, but we got a great crowd here tonight, so I think I'm going to ask at the end of the show, see if I can get some help from the crowd.
Well, you got a lot of them out there to help you tonight, Craig, so I'm sure one of them will know the answer.
All right, well, let's get things started. We want to talk some Lady Raiders basketball. We're going to start out talking Lady Raiders basketball, but let's go back to last year, Ken. The SCL, quite a season. Let's go to the standings, and why don't you kind of recap what happened last year in the SCL?
Well, it was a memorable year for Shelby County League girls basketball, Craig. They walked away with 2 state champions last year. The Anna Rockets finished the Shelby County League play at 12-0. Fort Loramie was right behind them with 2 tough losses to Anna, finishing at 10-2. But when the season came down, Craig, the Anna Rockets were your Division III state champs. The Fort Loramie Redskins were your Division IV state champs. And our Russia Raiders, Craig, were right behind them. They finished the season at 8-4 and made a nice tournament run as they did the previous year.
Yeah, well, we're kind of partial here to the Russia Raiders, obviously, and that was a heck of a situation to be in last year in a league with 2 state champions, but looking forward to some big things this year. We're going to talk to the head coach of the Raiders here in just a second, the new head coach of the Raiders. Before we do that, though, let's recap a little bit what happened last year and what's coming up this year with this video. Check this out. There's a lot to look forward to this season for the 2013-2014 Lady Raiders basketball team. The girls finished last season with an overall record of 14-8, including a record of 8 wins and 4 losses in the tough Shelby County League. Russia's coaching staff will be a familiar one. First-year head coach Tim Hatcher was an assistant last year, but takes the reins this year and will be calling the plays for the Blue and Gold. This year's assistant coaches include Tim York and Craig Borchers. Back this year on the court for Russia are two senior leaders in Maggie Kearns and Camille Putoff, both who will be looked at to provide leadership on and off the floor. Maggie shot almost 42% from the field last year, which was second best on the team, and will be aiming for another good shooting year again for the Raiders. The junior class is a load of talent, and it all starts with Kylie Wilson, a first-team All-SCL selection last year. Kylie led the Raiders in scoring last season with almost 13 points per game. She was also one of the best in the area in rebounds, averaging almost 9 boards per game. Other juniors being counted on to contribute include Emily Borchers, Allison Garrity, Claire Sherman, and Claudia Monin. Claudia began to shine last year and became one of the Raiders' top offensive threats, scoring a season-high 13 points late in the schedule against Fort Laramie. This year's team also has a couple sophomores in Rachel Hewing and Lauren Heaton. Lauren was a key member for the Raiders last year, adding some quickness at the point guard position and dishing out 68 assists on the year. Finally, there's some talent in the freshman class, and look for newcomers Tiffany Hatcher and Maria Heron to contribute as the year goes on. Russia opens the season this Friday night at Sydney in a rematch of last year's overtime thriller in which Sydney pulled out a 69-64 win. The Lady Raiders will no doubt be looking for a little payback this year and a win to start out the new season. All right, we're live right now with the head coach of the Raiders, the new head coach of the Russia Raiders, Coach Tim Hatcher. Coach, you want to welcome to Fish Report Live. First of all, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
You want to introduce who you've got up here tonight?
Okay, on my right here, I got Maggie Kearns, senior captain. Got Camille Putoff, another senior captain, and our junior captain, Kylie Wilson.
All right, well, I want to start with you first. I know you've been busy here lately with some scrimmages. Got a chance to watch you on Friday night scrimmage up against Fort Recovery. I know on Saturday you went down to that Troy showcase, played Tecumseh for a couple quarters, and then Monday night I believe you scrimmaged against St. Henry, if that's right. How's it going? How are the Lady Raiders looking?
Looking pretty good so far. We've got some conflicts with scheduling because of the great athletic sporting events that we had this fall here at Russia, and I had a band trip that we had to fit in here. So we've got a few players that are probably going to get like 9 practices in before the first game, but they're picking it up well. We've got Allen's, what I call the legacy stuff.
Okay.
And we have that in our hip pocket because we've got 3 fantastic assistant coaches that have learned that so well, and I don't have to worry about that as much as I do just getting to know the kids and remembering their names.
Coach, last year the Raiders led the Shelby County League in 2 major categories, free throw shooting and rebounding. Explain to us how those 2 categories you focus on this year and how they can help you win some games.
Well, it's interesting because those are 2 main categories that we are focusing on as a team as a whole. We spend a lot of time in practice each day working on foul shots, and with what we want to do offensively, we're hoping to get to the line quite frequently. Our goal this year is probably 70% from the foul line on an average for the season. Rebounding, they've done a fantastic job. What we're looking for here is probably trying to not necessarily beat that mark last year, but control the differences in percentage of rebounds between ourselves and our opponents. We'd like to see probably 30 to 40% gap between our rebounds versus our opponents on a nightly basis.
All right, listen, in that video we talked about your 8-4 record last year in the SCL and a tough SCL, and I'll tell you how tough it was. All 4 of your losses were to the state champs in Division III and Division IV. What does that say about the competition of the Shelby County League and really your whole schedule?
Well, we look at it as being very fortunate. You know, that provides us the opportunity to prepare ourselves for our tournament action and our runs. Where else can you go probably in the state of Ohio where you can meet that kind of competition on almost a nightly basis? We've got some fantastic coaches at all the different schools. You've got some great players and some incoming freshmen that are going to be very strong at these schools this year. And again, to go out on a nightly basis, play that kind of competition, it can only make you better.
Coach, I want to go to senior captain Maggie Kearns. Maggie, you've had a short time to adjust to Coach Hatcher's new system. You've a couple scrimmages under your belt. Explain to our listeners out there how the practices have been going and adjusting to the new system.
They're going really well. We've put in a lot of practice time recently just because of the new system. Everyone's got to learn everything, but I think we're adjusting well.
All right, I want to ask Camille a question. Camille, you've had quite a roller coaster ride. I know last year you weren't able to play because of an ACL injury. You got healthy, had a great volleyball season. Looking forward to this basketball season. What do you know? Another ACL injury. What are you going to be able to contribute to the Raiders this year?
Right now I'm in the process of rehab. I go back in another week to see how I'm doing. I'm going to see if I can play on it this year or if it'd be better for me to just get surgery. But after I decide if I can play, then that's great. Hopefully I can do something on the court. But if not, just trying to be a leader, trying to help the other girls when they ask questions, whatever.
Let's go to Kylie Wilson. Kylie, I watched a lot of girls' games from your freshman season going on. And, you take a punishment in the paint. I mean, the other team seems to focus on Kylie Wilson. What are we going to do to keep her out of the paint? Who in practice resembles that opponent that can push you around in practice?
I have to say definitely Claire Sherman. We have fun pushing each other around. But I do have to give credit to Maria Heron because she actually scored on me in the post today. So that was pretty cool.
Well, thank you.
Coach, I got one more question for you. I want to talk about another category. We talked about the free throws and the rebounds. Another category is three-point percentage. And that category last year, 21, 22%, somewhere in there. Probably a category I know you want to improve on. What do you do to get better in that category?
Yeah, that's a great point, and it's very valid. I think the biggest thing is we got shooters. But I think previously they probably weren't getting in the best positions to look at that three as often and feeling as comfortable. We preach a lot about rhythm and tempo of the game, and catching and knocking down threes has got to be part of that offense and part of that feeling when you're stepping to the pass. And the girls they're getting that, they're feeling good about it, and they're knocking some shots down here, and I think that's only going to get better, which is obviously going to help Kylie out on the inside of the game as well.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate yourself, the Lady Raider captains, coming out and joining us tonight in Cruisers. And like you mentioned before, it's hard to believe the season's here already. It's come upon us so quick. And I know you took over the program over the summer. And the Lady Raider fans and Russia fans in general are just looking for a lot of excitement on the floor this year.
And we're hoping to be able to deliver that.
All right, well, thanks for joining us tonight. Best of luck this Friday night against Sydney. Best of luck the rest of the season. And, again, thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
All right, well, stay right there. We're going to be right back. We're going to be talking to the head coach of the Botkins Trojans, Don Mack, who happens to be the first SCL opponent for these people over here next Tuesday. Stay right there.
Beg that girl to come back home. Deep down I know she's better off, 'cause fools like me are meant to die alone. Someone give me one good reason, one good reason to smile. I'm trying to be that guy my mother prayed that I would be. Some days I feel like hit the mark, some days I fail hopelessly. I think I'm alright, I just stumble from time to time. Oh, my mother knows I'm trying to be that guy.
All right, welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live, everyone. Ken up here at Cruisers tonight, great crowd. I know you spent a lot of time up here this summer on Thursday nights listening to some good music with their patio party. They actually continue to do the same thing here at Cruisers, only on Friday nights now, haven't they?
Absolutely, Craig. They've had some great entertainment up here on Friday nights, acoustical guitars playing, and it's just been a lot of fun to come up here on Friday nights as well.
All right, well, let's get back to talking some girls basketball. Talked to Coach Hatcher and his players here just a little bit ago. Their first SCL opponent next Tuesday actually is going to be the Botkins Trojans. Their head coach, Don Mack. I believe we have him live here on the phone right now. Well, I think they're getting him on the phone here live right now. But like I said, Rushie's first opponent. Before that, though, they have a game against Sydney on Friday night. Saturday night, they got another game against Bradford, the first home game. And a lot to look forward to this season.
Yes, we do. It'll be interesting to see the Rushie-Sydney matchup. It's been a rivalry for many years, Craig, ever since Coach Cordonier was there from Rushie back in the day. And, Bradford on Saturday night. And then Botkins coming to town. Botkins lost star Logan Pitts from last year's team, but they got some good returning players.
Yeah, they sure do. That game, I'll mention that game against Sydney. Actually, that game went into overtime here last year, and so I think Rushie's probably looking for a little bit of payback on that game. And then the home opener, like you said, on Saturday night against Bradford. I think they're calling that game a blue out, maybe, trying to encourage all the fans to come out, wear blue. Should be a good time.
Yeah, it should be, Craig. And, hopefully our sound guys here can get Coach Mack on the line here in just a minute. And
well, before we get to him, though, Ken, let's talk about the rest of the SCL. We mentioned some of the teams there when you were going over the standings. Who else in this the SCL are you looking forward to seeing this year?
Well, it's going to be interesting, Craig. Fort Loramie, when you talk about Shelby County League girls basketball, you got to start with Fort Loramie. They're defending Division IV state champions. They had a couple seniors that they lost off of last year's team, namely Paige Ordine. But they got the nucleus of the team back, led by Darian Rose last year, and look for her to be a target this year for teams to stop.
Well, how about the Anna Rockets? They're a team that won a state championship last year. Are you expecting the same out of them again this year?
Well, Anna, Craig, is going through a lot of change. They've got a new coach over there in Dave McFeely, and they've lost a couple good seniors off of last year's team, and Erica Huber and Natalie Billing. But, they're going to be strong again, as always. And again, that's Anna basketball. They're really going to get after it.
One team I'm kind of looking forward to seeing this year is the Jackson Center Tigers. Didn't have a great record last year, but they had a lot of youth there. I think 4 freshmen, a Metz, a Meyer, an Esser, and maybe a Fote, that they're all going to be sophomores this year. Look for them with all the experience last year to be a little bit better this year. They might surprise a few teams this year.
Craig, they showed a lot of talent and athleticism on their volleyball season, and I think they're going to be very talented in basketball this year as well. You're right. They're going to be young, but they're going to be a team that nobody wants to take lightly.
All right, well, let's talk about the Botkins Trojans. I think we have them on the phone right now. Coach Mack, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, listen, hey, Ken and I, we're up here at Cruisers, TK Heavy D, we're all up here at Cruisers. We're having a good time. We're talking girls basketball. My first question is, why aren't you up here? I know that's a perfect night in your book.
Well, I kept looking for that chartered bus because you guys said you were trying to be like a college game day, so I thought maybe there was a chartered bus going to pick your guest up, but I missed that one, so I said I guess we'll do this one over the phone. But all joking aside, Wednesday nights I try to be home with the family and with no games usually going on, so sorry I couldn't be there, but nice to see you live somewhere else other than Studio F.
All right. Well, we're not quite to the charter bus yet. We're working our way there. When we get there, we'll give you a call, all right?
Sounds good.
All right. Listen, we were just talking about the rest of the SCL. I want to talk about your team a little bit. I know you lost half a dozen seniors last year. One of those was Logan Pitts. Ken just mentioned her a little bit ago. I think she led you in a lot of offensive categories this last year. What do you got coming back this year? What are we going to see from the Lady Trojans?
Well, we have basically 2 letter winners with any real-time varsity experience, being senior Michaela Kramer and sophomore Kayla Euchre. Kayla is just a phenomenal athlete with great speed, and we hope to utilize that as much as possible. Michaela is being asked to do a lot for us, not only from scoring and rebounding, but playing several different positions, and she's going to be moved around a lot because a little short on numbers this year, so we're trying to get them all accustomed to playing multiple positions.
Coach, hi, this is Ken Francis, and thanks for joining us on our show. Speaking of that bus, I was hoping maybe Steve and Barb Young from Cruisers would maybe, support the bus or something. Maybe we could put their name on the side for them.
Hey, there you go. I mean, I figured, this was your audition you were going to send in to ESPN for this, so I figured you were going to pull out all the stops and have your guests chartered in just like College Game Day does, but that would be funny.
Hey, Coach, you lost your leader last year. You lost a bunch of seniors. It's important for every team to have a leader. Have you had somebody step up yet for your young Trojan team yet?
We're still kind of working on things like that. We had some kids that were out for our school musical, and then we had some FFA things going on. So really, we've only had everybody there for the last maybe week or week and a half, and so it's still kind of a work in progress with that. But I definitely look for a lot out of my three seniors with Michaela Kramer, and then I have senior Andrea Guttemiller and Emily Brown that are my three main seniors at the varsity level.
Coach, you open the season Friday night. You've got 3 games in 5 days, all on the road, including the third game at Russia. Explain to us how opening the season strong is very important, and what you're up against.
Well, I kind of strategically planned our scrimmages this year. All of them but one were away. I don't think the girls really realized why I did that, but a big part of that was looking at the schedule, and most of our games to begin the year were on the road, and I guess that's what happens when you start. Last year we had our first 4 games at home, so this year it kind of flip-flops for us. But the big thing we've been talking about is getting off to a good start, because with a young team, it's hard to dig yourself in such a hole and get back out of it if you don't get off to a good start. So we really have tried to talk and emphasize that, and the scrimmages, when we've gotten off to good starts, it's definitely had the kids get an extra step, in their giddy up and be faster and just play with a lot more confidence. So, confidence is a weird thing, and it's a great thing when you're young and inexperienced too.
Coach, Ken mentioned that third game is coming over here, visiting Russia. You're going to be facing a new coach over here. We just interviewed him a little bit ago, Coach Tim Hatcher. I want to ask you, when you're facing I guess you call him a rookie coach, is that easier or harder for you?
Well, I guess I'd have to go on the way of harder, because, Alan and a lot of the coaches that you go up against last year, sometimes you can figure out their tendencies or what kind of play they might run at the end of a quarter. So that would definitely be something that we will not be familiar with, and it definitely can present a challenge when you're not familiar with a new system that a coach brings into a program like Russia.
All right, Coach. Well, listen, hey, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. Best of luck this weekend. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday over here at Russia. And, again, thanks for joining us tonight in Fish Report Live.
Thanks Coach.
Guys. Thanks for having me.
You. All right, Ken, that was the head coach of the Botkins Trojans, Don Mack. Always enjoy talking to that guy. He's a fun guy to talk to, isn't he?
Don's a fun guy. He's a great coach. He's done a good job with that Botkins program. And, like you said, he lost a lot of seniors off last year's team. But I'm sure Tuesday night when they come into Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium, they'll be ready to play. And Russia is going to have to be ready to play as well.
What do you think of his idea of the charter bus?
I thought it was a great idea.
All right, we'll have to talk to Steve and Barb and work something out there, you think?
I agree.
All right. Well, listen, I think that's about going to do it for us tonight, Ken. A lot of girls basketball talk. Looking forward to the season getting started here. Next week, we'll actually be talking some boys basketball talk, and look forward to that as well. So we do have to get back to that trivia question you asked me at the beginning of the show. Why don't you repeat it to me again, and I'm going to look for a little help out here in the crowd.
All right, Craig. The question was, girls, help Craig out. Who holds the record for the Russia all-time record for most points scored in one game? Is it Sandy Cardonier, Kylie Wilson, Cassie Francis, or Tanya Hammonds?
Well, all right, I was going to say, Kylie's sitting out there. I would think she would know if she had this record or not. So it's definitely not you, Kylie, right? Okay. And everyone seemed to yell at Cassie Francis. I'm going to go with Cassie Francis.
Well, you're right. She had 38 points in one game back in the 2000 season.
All right. We need to do this in front of a live audience every week. That way I would
get them all right.
I'd get them all right then. All right, Ken. Well, do you want to say some thank yous tonight? Thanks to Coach Hatcher for coming out, bringing all his players out tonight. Good to see them. Thanks for Coach Mack. To Coach Mack for joining us, and thanks for the crowd for coming out tonight. Next week we'll be back. Most of us will be back. I know you're not actually going to be there. Got a little surgery scheduled, don't you?
Yeah, I might be out of commission next week, but we'll try to make it back in time.
All right.
I don't know if I will or not.
We'll be thinking about you. Maybe we'll have to go out and find you and do a little interview with you in the hospital bed. So
that'll work. I'd like to thank also Steve and Barb Young and Cruisers for letting us set up here tonight. Really appreciate it. And let's give a round to them as well.
All right, well, that's all for us tonight, folks. Again, we'll be back again next week. Same time, same place. Until then, have a great rest of the week, and good night.
From Studio F in Russia, Ohio, for Ken Francis, Craig Fissinger, and TK, this is Heavy D, signing off, saying good night and good fishing.